Hi, and welcome back to the Imaginary Gallery. It's TJ again, and tonight's topic is online marketplace sellers and how they tend to display two different ways of being. One would be toxic, abusive tactics, cluster B trait type behaviors, and on the other hand, we've got the nice, good, friendly sellers who are empathetic and who are there to help you and appear to genuinely care. So I've got two real-life examples of my experiences in the online marketplace world because I've been a part of that for years. Once I discovered you can go online and find those records and that video and that DVD that you could never find with a click of a button and it comes to your door, I was hooked. But the two examples I have, the first one is, it was on eBay many years ago, but there was this product I was interested in purchasing. It was some kind of music video type thing. I think it was the band Berlin. But the point was, I went online, found the product, clicked buy, and it said PayPal only. So I went to PayPal, and I went to pay for it. Well, guess what happened? I got some kind of message that said, this person is not authorized to accept a payment or something like that, where I figured, why are you selling things online if you can't accept payment? And I didn't get any type of email or anything from them, so I thought, you know what? In this day and age of instant gratification, I tried to buy your product, you wouldn't take the money, so I went on to the next seller and I found another one. So I went ahead and ordered it from the other person, paid for it successfully, and I thought it was all over. Well, like 3 days later, the original seller sent me an email that said something like, oh, sorry, we had this problem, whatever excuse they gave, it doesn't matter. The point was they couldn't accept the money, and they gave their excuse, and so I wrote back and said, well, sorry, but I tried to pay for that item on your site, and it refused the payment, so I bought it from another seller. Well, that must have infuriated this person, even though, I mean, a person with empathy would realize, well, I don't blame him, he couldn't pay for it, but no, that's not what this person did. Instead, this person went into the feedback section for the transaction and put like a negative number and like a thumbs down type of response saying that we had problem with account, buyer bought from someone else, and some kind of like negative stuff. And I'd like, yeah, I tried to buy your product and you didn't take the money. So that's the example of the cluster B type mentality where they're in the wrong to begin with, so you proceed accordingly and move to the direct, because you want what you want to order, then you don't want to wait for them to sort out their mess, and then they come back and put negative feedback on your profile that you bought from somebody else after you promised it to them. But they did mention the bank issue, but that should have been taken care of before they listed their item. But that's one example. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum would be just a recent transaction I did off of Amazon. The band Dead or Alive had their first or their debut album. They had like a brand new version of it. It was re-released on a different label that had like 7 bonus tracks from way back then when they first started. Well, I was fascinated with that, and I saw it online, so I went to the sellers on Amazon and I ordered that CD. Like 3 days later, it came in the mail. It's actually right here. And I looked at it and I read the back of it, and it was the exact same copy I already owned, which is the normal, regular 1980 whatever version. So I figured, I didn't need to order the same CD twice, so I was wondering, how is this seller going to react? So, of course, I was as friendly as possible, so I sent them a message and I said, hi, thank you for the quick delivery of the item. However, if you look at the item description, you'll see that I had ordered the brand new version with the bonus tracks, not the Epic version, but the cherry red or whatever label it was, and I was just wondering what would happen. And then, of course, I gave an opportunity to make it better, so I said, well, do you happen to have the correct version on stock so I could, like, exchange this one for that one? And I said, because I already have this one. The reason I ordered this was because of the 7 bonus tracks. And one of the reasons that I understood all this is because I once did the same thing. I didn't know there were like 2 versions of the same CD, and I listed it under the wrong heading, and the buyer pointed that out. The same thing I'm doing here, and it's like, oh, I know what this is like. So I didn't want to be mean about it, like, how dare you send me the wrong CD, you fools. I didn't want to do any of that. I figured it can happen. It happened with me, so because I have empathy and know what that's like. But to my delight, the seller wrote back and said, oh, I'm so sorry. We must have listed it under the wrong heading. And he said, I've already taken steps to find the version you're interested in from another seller, and I have ordered that. So you should receive it in so many days. And as far as the disc we sent you, feel free to keep it, give it as a gift, whatever you choose. And I thought, well, okay, that is the way business should be. That is the complete opposite of that first person or first merchant, and it just shows how in this, even in the online world, people with the cluster B traits, they can be exposed just through the way they interact. And then you can, of course, compare them to the ones who don't have those traits. And it was just interesting, but I figured I'd share that. It's a short video, just a few little things, but keep that in mind when you're dealing with sellers online, if you do. And I know a lot of them want good feedback, so they want to do the right thing. I'm just glad that this other one worked out because the CD actually arrived, and it was brand new, and I got it for a tiny price, like way less than it's listed for. So there are good people in this world. But sometimes it seems to be pretty rare that you find the good ones. But they're there.